All right. So this is welcome back. I forgot how to open credit stuff for a second. Okay. Um, well, we're back with Who to Trust by KDH 1997. Speaking of which, said author is here in a call with us, helping with voicing things. Because in chapter 13, they're going to be narrating for me while I basically murder my voice doing Moon. Got anything to say?
Oh boy. Please bear with me because I am sure I'm going to mess things up, even though it's my own story.
Uh, uh, uh,
Oh man.
That's to be expected, sadly. Everyone messes up. They'll be doing narrator for chapter 13, Gregory and Freddie. Later on, you'll catch them doing Chica, Roxy, and I believe you also wanted to attempt Vanessa.
Yeah. Admittedly, if we ever run into somebody that does a better voice for him, I'm more than happy to step down. It's just to help out.
Yeah. We already got a few like behind the scenes before recording bloopers where they attempted sun drop, and let's just say the statement that was made before that Chica and Sun have the same tone of voice when it comes to speaking really shown.
Not only that, but I tried Foxy as well, and but he said that I sounded a lot like Molly from Harry Potter.
It was funny. It's super funny. Especially when she's scolding. Okay, but yeah, so definitely give KDH, or as I'm going to refer them to as Luna during this. That's their designated nickname. There is now a Discord server for people to join in on. If you're interested on updates or even talking to fellow fans or getting not live conversations going versus just having to go about and refreshing the page every time you make a comment to see like, oh hey, did someone respond? Or seeing an email and having to go through and find such story to read the comment, or going to inbox and having to fight AO3 with pulling up the story without pulling up something completely random that's happened to me about 5 times already within this past week. Or pulled up a completely different story from the comment that I was trying to read from. Ah, So we got a Discord server. I've already posted the link in the last video in the description, but this time I'm going to also post it in this description as well as warn you in the beforehand. Um, this video, the only thing that is owned by me is, of course, my own voice. Everything else, the work is done by Luna, aka KDH, and all Five Nights at Freddy stuff is made by Scott Coffin, and Security Breach is developed by Steel Wool. So yeah, wish us luck and be patient with us. Like I said, in multiple different videos, we are not professionals at all. There are going to be many mistakes, especially when it comes to Moon, where my throat is going to be screaming bloody murder at me. So, let's go. Chapter 13. A desperate move.
Gregory clenched his eyes shut as he lay on the floor trembling. When nothing happened, he looked back to find the crouching, blue-garbed animatronic standing in place and staring, right before he would be behind the desk. Moon chuckled as he eyed the child in front of him, making chills course through Gregory's skin to cover more of the body than he knew it could cover.
Nighty nights.
Seeing them rise off the floor, at first thinking they were just standing up straight, The boy watched in stunned shock as it began flying away at high speed. Looking over, he saw it was watching him from on top of the play area. Can he not come back here? Gregory muttered.
You can't hide forever, you naughty child.
They said, their voice raspy and making him think of a dying man's voice. Maybe a possessed one.
It's past your bedtime.
Yep, demon possessed. Still, Moon, he figured, was right. He couldn't just sit there. He ignored Freddie, who was telling him the same thing Sun had said before, basically, as he thought of something. Turning his flashlight, he saw it was still knocked over. Freddie said before that the attendant had a strict cleaning protocol at night for the daycare, not Sun specifically. Hey, he yelled, trying to make sure they were listening. You, you not going to clean up that mess? He yelled as he pointed it to the knocked over tower. Moon looked over, his protocol screaming.
Clean up! Clean up!
He yelled, jumping down to the ground next to it and began to check them, trying to figure out which barrel was which. Taking the chance, Gregory ran out from behind the desk. From what he could see, Moon took just as long as Sun to clean up. What was the big deal about the top or bottom of each part? Well, it helped him now, so he made the most of it by knocking them all down. He needed to distract the animatronic as long as possible if he wanted a chance. He was mostly traveling through memory of what he saw when it was lit, but he was good at things like that. If he wasn't, he'd have been dead long ago, or back in that orphanage with that creep. He paused and thought a little. The orphanage owner or Moon? He would rather be with Moon, sadly. At least he knew it was coming, even if it was death. Those kids were never the same after they hit 10, and the guy took them to his room. He didn't want to know what happened to them. Hearing bells, which both Sun and Moon wore on their feet and wrists, reminded him about said killer bot as he kept moving to get to those generators.
On the mess! Clean up!
Moon yelled again, working on a second tower. Running through the jungle gym, Gregory tried to quickly follow the cables. They had to be to the generators, he figured. Finding the end of one, he pulled the switch down. One down, three to go. He glanced around. There had to be a second one in this one somewhere, since there were two cables going into this side and two on the other. Hearing Moon gripe again, he knew he had to hurry. He didn't know how many were left. Who could say he would make a fuss each time? Running through, down, up, and around, he kept up his search till he found the second one.
Well, Gregory, it's time to sleep, naughty boy.
He gasped. He had never told him his name. How did he know? In fact, Chica knew it too, didn't she? How? Seeing everything tinted red, he looked up in terror as he saw the evil attendant right above him. He was outside the play area but was reaching in to grab him. Ducking down, he went back to running, his eyes wide as he saw they were keeping right up as they climbed on all fours on the outside and kept reaching in. He had to keep dodging their hands or it was over. Seeing a chance, Gregory jumped out the side from a cutout looking hole, opposite the one the attendant was on, and fell to the floor. He was thankful the floor was soft, as it stopped him from being in too much pain.
Tick tock.
Looking up, he saw they had already got to the other side and was somehow on the floor, getting ready to lunge at him. Gregory forced a smile as he pushed what was beside him over, knocking down a tower again. Moon froze.
Clean up! Clean up!
He yelled angrily with his raspy voice. As Moon began hurrying to clean up the mess, Gregory went around pushing the towers over again. Going to the other side, he praised his luck on finding the third one quickly. Just the last one was left. It looked to be in the upper area by the cable. But where? He climbed up and began searching rapidly, trying his hardest to find it. He started to feel himself getting turned around as he tried to hurry. He was getting worn out with all this running again. His eyes widened in glee as his eyes picked out the last one. Moving toward it, he reached his hand to pull the final switch to turn the lights back on. Ah! He screamed as something pulled the back of his shirt, pulling him away and out of reach of the switch. His arms couldn't reach it now. His world turned red as he found himself looking up, finding himself face to face with Moon.
Great time's over.
Moon stated while chuckling darkly. Gregory shivered as he felt metal go around his throat in a light hold, but it was slowly getting tighter.
Time to sleep.
Feeling his air get blocked, Gregory began struggling desperately to get free. Yet no matter what he did, their hold didn't loosen even a little. His eyes glanced at the generator in front of him. He tried reaching it with his hands, but he was still too far away. He heard Moon chuckle again. His face began turning purple as his vision began going black.
Nighty night.
With one final push of desperation, Gregory threw his legs up and prayed he would kick the lever down. He caught the sound of the generator kicking on as he began to pass out.
Right? Turn it off. Turn it off.
The hand left his throat as he fell to the floor. He gulped in air greedily, coughing as the air seemed to burn his chest. He lifted his head a bit to watch what was happening to the animatronic. It began trying to shield itself from the light as it screamed in its raspy voice. As it did, the stars began to vanish as the blue pants turned into red and yellow striped. The long sleep cap seemed to vanish into the head as orange spikes began to slip free, the, the frills returning from their blue color back to red. Finally, the eyes stopped glowing as they turned white again. Gregory stared at Sun as he lightly touched his own throat. It stung badly from where Moon had choked him. Seeing Sun move his head, looking around, Gregory pushed himself back. He couldn't be sure he wouldn't be attacked again. Sun looked down after seeing the movement.
Big stars, you're all right, new friend.
Gregory gaped at him. All, all, all right? You call this all right? He asked incredulously, his voice croaking a bit from pain. Sun sighed and reached toward him. Fear filled the boy as he tried to scoot away, backing into a wall. He looked at the hand in front of him. Sun looked at the floor but didn't retract his hand.
I apologize for my brother. I am just glad he didn't kill you. God, gross. Moon, why is your voice so hard? Oh, okay. Well, that turned out all right, I would say.
Think it went
Okay.
well?
No, you did say liver instead of lever, I believe.
I thought I said lever, but
It's like liver to me. It was just a little funny to me, that's all. It sounded a little funny. Oh, my throat feels exactly how Gregory's probably feels right now. Okay. I think there's no more moon for a hot minute at least, hopefully.
I
Mm,
don't think he shows up for a few chapters.
I think he actually shows up later in chapter 15.
Hmm?
Yeah, he does.
I
He does.
Oh yeah, he does. He does. He makes a little
Oh,
cameo.
well, I'll manage. Manage. Okay. Why did I go all the way back to chapter 13? I don't want to be chapter 13. There we go. All right. So I'm just gonna quickly like drink some hot tea and here we go. Okay, so now I'm back to being narrator. So
Yeah,
Chapter
and I will
14,
be focusing on Gregory.
Gre- Gregory and Freddy. All right, so chapter 14, no one else to turn to. Son continued to sit on the plate set floor with his hand towards Gregory, who refused to take it said hand. His neck was already showing signs of bruising from that very same hand, even if it looks different from get off from some paint changes. Sun sighed, his spikes sinking a bit as the light dimmed on them to make them less bright. My throat still hurts. God damn. Okay. A sign Gregory noted as him being sad or depressed, or some other complicated emotion. Right now, he wasn't sure he cared. Not after almost dying. Sun nodded. I understand that you need to wait. I understand that I need to explain further now.
From the beginning.
I want to try that again. You kind of cut off a bit there for me.
You should have done that to begin with.
Gregory muttered
Did
angrily.
accept
Yeah. Sun looked at the floor, not daring to look up. I'm sorry, I was worried you wouldn't take me. That you would either take the badge, risking yourself still, or just leave without either. If you did, then I could not try to protect you, nor save my brother. Gregory looked at him incredulously.
save your brother?
Did he look like he needed saving? No, I'm saying that in Sun's voice. He was a killer. Gregory thought as much, at least. Sun nodded. That is why I want to go to parts and service, to find what is wrong. After all he did for me, it's the least I can do for him. Gregory wasn't sure if he could trust the spot or not. Still, a question burned in his mind, one he had for a while now.
Do you know my name?
Sun tilted his head. His spikes frozen from. Yeah. Sun tilted his head. His spikes frozen for a second before slowly pulling out to their normal state. Your name? But I don't know your name, friend. Gregory shook his head, grimacing in pain from the action.
You, your brother, said it while he was hunting me.
He corrected.
But we just met, so how is it they said my name? How did Chica, for that matter?
Sun pound, Sun pondered for a second. I could think of a few reasons. You have no guest profile, so that's out of the question. You could have set it or had it set into the fast watch. You could get it there. There is also if someone else was told it and passed it on themselves directly to security, letting him get it. Gregory clicked his tongue. Knowing Freddie had said it before through the fast watch, so it was possible that was how. It bothered him that there was a reason. So there had to be a reason regardless. They couldn't just know it with no reason. Sun tilted his head, his thoughts trailing, but he was torn between accepting the possibility or just dismissing it entirely, as he mostly wished to. But he put it aside for now. He was programmed to do everything in his power to not unnecessarily worry or frighten children. If he shared his thoughts, that he isn't even sure of accepting just the possibility, it could clearly be unnecessary. Instead, he began to stand up, crouching in this crouching in this wait. Instead, he began to stand up, crouching in the structure. I will go get an ice pack to help with the pain. Again, I do very much apologize for that and all the fear you had to go through. He began walking away. Before getting too far, he stopped and weakly turned back enough to face Gregory. His spikes were nearly sucked in completely into his head. I know it's unreasonable to ask, but I have no one else to ask this. I have tried so many things to get them to help us, but I understand if you do not after what happened. And that's the end of chapter 14. Okay, chapter 15 with more moon in it.
Hey.
Didn't mean to do that. Yep. Yeah, well, it's already there. I'm just gonna keep that. Time for more throat death. Oh, I'm really hoping these racers are not being picked up on the mic as they keep racing through the streets.
I
Oh,
haven't been
okay.
able to hear it at least.
Okay, that's good. At least you can't hear it. Um, watch this is one of
Oh,
those
there is a
moments.
little bit of Vanny here, actually.
There's what?
There's a bit of Vanny here. I forgot that.
There's?
Sort of.
Yeah, I told you Benny sneaks up on you. Did I
It's
not say
it's
that?
like a very
No, she snuck up on you.
Yep.
Okay, where is she? You know what? We'll get to it when we get to it. It's fine.
Yep.
Let me treat my poor throat. I will be lucky to be able to talk after this, or even tomorrow. And I know Moon pops up a bit more on the way to said parts and service. Oh God, it's
I will try to see if I can't voice the narration for the times where he talks a lot.
I mean, I could probably work it out. It just means I need to do more voice exercises to help counteract his voice. Okay, so we should probably get started on chapter 15 because technically we still gotta go to the store where I am. So,
All right.
oh, so chapter 15, leaving the daycare. Slipping outside the doors to the daycare, Gregory met with Freddie again, who knelt down in front of Gregory.
Great work, superstar. You got the security badge. With that, we can enter the main atrium. Atrium? Is that what the main area of the Plex is called?
Yes, not hearing the term before. He looked up at the bear, curiously. Freddie nodded.
That is correct. We must hurry, though. It is almost 1 o'clock. Every hour, the power will be diverted to the recharge stations, and the daycare attendant is allowed to roam free. The only safe locations at those times are the recharge stations.
Nodding, having heard such before, Gregory began climbing inside the hatch again.
So, we are going into that red pod with the lightning bolt?
He asked as he sat down. His eyes traveled to the ceiling as Freddie began turning and closing his stomach hatch. He could see something yellow and red rising to the air. He could vaguely make out a black wire attached to his back.
So
So
that's how
that
we did it? Yes, those are recharge stations. They are placed around the Pizzaplex to be able to recharge our batteries should we ever begin running out.
Gregory looked up to where Freddie's head was.
What about the attendant? I didn't see one in there. Does he just charge differently?
He asked. Freddie shook his head.
That is incorrect. His is probably in his back room. I have never been there, but he does not charge differently from any of the rest of us, though his battery does last much longer than ours.
That was surprising and a bit weird.
His battery is longer? Why? Hmm.
It didn't make sense. Sun and Moon were taller, yes, but much thinner. You would think a bigger battery would fit the others. Freddie continued to walk, going up the stairs to go towards the entrance Gregory had came in from.
While I do not have all the answers as to how, he has to work directly with children for many hours. He does not have the ability to leave his post during hours, so his battery had to last longer to prevent any accidents. That was before they temporarily closed down from an accident, however.
This was new.
An accident? The daycare was closed down?
Freddie hummed a little in response, sounding a bit unsure or down spirited.
Yes, it happened a month prior. The daycare attendant gave no sign of anything out of the ordinary, but come nap time they harmed a child. The lights came back on thanks to the human staff member who heard something, and the child was taken home, traumatized but safe. Since then, as the two could not be fixed as no issues were found in their programming, the daycare no longer took kids.
As the story ended, they neared the first gate and the lights flickered off again. Sorry, I got interrupted. Good night, the moon said as he landed behind them. Gregory gulped as his throat felt tighter suddenly as it became harder to breathe.
You kind of you cut
Oh
out there,
shit,
I
sorry.
think.
I did?
Yeah,
Where?
you did not read Moon's lines as far as I heard.
Oh, I did. Okay, but okay, so it didn't work. Sorry, I got interrupted. Okay. As the story ended, they neared the first gate and the lights flickered off again. Good night, the moon said as he landed behind them. Gregory gulped. His throat felt tighter suddenly as it became harder to breathe.
Fred, Fred, go, hurry!
Gregory stuttered. He pressed on the metal around him. He wanted to run, to get away from that thing. It would get him. He didn't want that. He didn't want to die. Feeling Freddie move faster, Gregory hoped and prayed that he would survive as he heard the sounds of clomping feet and jingling bells that were steadily getting closer. Whimpering as he curled into himself, Gregory began rocking in the small space available to him. The sound of something opening and closing caught his ears, and with it the soon and with it the soon followed sound of glass being smashed. Naughty child, hiding in there. I will get you though. Just you wait. Gregory gagged, suddenly feeling sick from how scared he was. It might have been lucky. It might have been lucky his stomach was empty. A moment passed and Gregory pushed the chest plate a bit. He found it moved a bit, letting him peek out. He flinched a little as he felt his head begin pounding.
Yes. Oh. I'm sorry, that was the best I could do for this because it's supposed to be garbled.
Alright, give me a second. I'm being interrupted.
Wow. It's a long break. I'm just worried with how long this break is that we're gonna have to do the whole thing over again. His poor voice.
So terribly sorry.
Oh wow. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
it's because, apparently he already went to the store and got, like, a small ice cream cake for our birthday. For the Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so where were we? Okay, so you already did the glitch part. Alright,
Yeah,
so
that's where we left.
alright. He felt like his vision was shaking between normal, bright, and black as something unexplainable prodded at his mind. Between the pain and confusion, he managed to make out what appeared to be a woman in a white bunny costume holding a knife as she danced towards the daycare. As she left, things returned to normal. It was a minute later that the power came back on and Freddy stepped out of the recharge station.
Was that?
Gregory questioned, trying to look towards the gate to the daycare. Freddy looked at the fountain in front of him.
That is a fountain. A fountain is a decorative reservoir used for discharging water.
He answered instead. Gregory tapped the inside metal towards Gregory's head.
Not that. What was that dancing rabbit lady?
Freddy stopped mid-step.
There are no rabbit animatronics at the Pizzaplex. Not anymore.
He added, his voice downcast. Gregory opened his mouth to ask about it when Freddy began walking quickly out of the room and back to the main entrance.
We can now take the elevators to the main atrium. I also have good news. I have located two possible exit routes.
Freddy stated excitedly. It seemed he didn't want to talk about the rabbit at all, but at the same time, it was important for Gregory. He frowned and looked at the walls of the metal around him. The inside of Freddy. He sighed, shaking it off as he headed. Wait, no. He sighed, shaking it off as he heard a ding from the elevator arriving. Stepping inside, Gregory continued telling Gregory. Wait, did I say Gregory twice?
Yes,
No, I'm gonna read you that one. Stepping inside, Freddy continued telling Gregory of his findings.
the loading dock is located under the food court on the first floor. There is also a fire escape in the third floor prize counter. Check your Faz watch. I will mark it on your map.
Gregory looked at his watch confused.
Map? I don't see anything like one. All I have are a few apps. A game that requires me to pay to play it now that I've checked, a notepad, a thing to order food, your messages, and the cameras. It also gives commercials for different Pizzaplex events, which is kind of annoying. Oh, I am terribly sorry you are not happy with it.
Said in the same kind of tone that feels like he was at a funeral.
You should be able to obtain one from the greeter on the center balcony.
He replied further. Gregory pushed on the hatch.
Hey, could you let me out now? I'm happy I'm safe here, but I don't feel comfortable not being able to see for too long.
Complying, Freddy opened up and Gregory jumped out and landed on the elevator floor with a sigh. He felt a lot better now. It always made him a bit tense in general when he was restricted in movement methods. If his opinion of escape not opinion, if his options of escape were limited, he would be more worried as it went down. Being a Freddy, his escape was out of his hands completely,
Okay, so I'm only doing that as a last resort.
Gregory stated, mostly to himself, looking at Freddy's closing hatch. Freddy seemed confused.
Why is that, superstar?
I'm sorry. Gregory raised an eyebrow as he looked up at him.
You didn't want me in there to begin with, mister. That is not a safe play area.
Gregory mimicked as best as he could. Freddy jolted a bit.
While that is true, my hatch is the safest location to hide you in, is it not?
Gregory shrugged and turned to face the doors.
It just makes me uncomfortable, alright?
Freddy lowered his head.
I am so sorry my stomach is not comfortable.
He apologized, once again like it was a funeral.
That just sounded weird.
Honestly, it did.
What's that?
Said honestly, it did. I agree with Gregory on that statement. Gregory muttered as he stared at the bear, earning another apology. For the remainder of the trip, the two are quiet, the only sounds being the elevator music. Said track began one of the wait. Said track being one of the glam rock band's songs, but in traditional elevator music style and no words. Stepping out of the elevator as the door opened, Gregory gasped sharply? Gasped sharply as a staff bot appeared in his face. Take a map. Can't do this. The map bot. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. Take a map. Having curled up, Gregory looked at it confused as it held out a map. Free map. Reaching his hand out hesitantly, he took the map. Thank you. Enjoy your stay. the bot said, moving away. Gregory grit his teeth angrily as he flipped it off. It gave him a damn near heart attack.
Gregory, that is not polite.
Freddy abolished. Honestly, I agree with Gregory. Gregory huffed and rolled his eyes.
And scaring the heck out of me is?
He grumbled. His stomach growled at that moment, and he stood with his arms crossed in defiance, making him feel embarrassed instantly.
You appear hungry. Perhaps we should check the food court for you. It would be right beside the entrance point to reach the docks available to you.
Freddy suggested. Freddy suggested. I kinda yeah. Gregory looked up at him, contemplating the suggestion. He suddenly looked down and shook his head.
The last food I ate here was tampered with. I can't risk it. I'll just eat when I get out.
He stated, folding his arms as he turned his back. He peeked an eye open before closing it back and taking a deep breath.
I'll go for the fire escape. It should be easier since customers can normally go there.
Freddy nodded.
That is good thinking, superstar. Then we just need to head up to the third floor and get to El Chips. Here, I will mark the path on your map.
Feeling his watch vibrate, he saw that he both had a map on the area around him and a marked path. Gregory nodded and, with Freddy, began making his way to said location. Walking ahead of Freddy, Gregory looked towards their destination above, using his eyes. Looking down again, he looked to his left hand with a conflicted face. And that was the end of chapter 15. Ugh, besides a little interruption in the middle of it. I think it went pretty
Yeah,
well.
we might want to add something to say they might want to skip to a certain section.
Don't worry, there is a way of cutting video in YouTube editor, so I might have to do that. It just means I have to like go through and watch the entire video to mark down when said skip happens and then when it ends.
Cause yeah, that
Um,
was a bit of a long break there.
yeah, it was a speech about remembering uh birth minutes and a bunch of like family drama stuff between him and his dad. Yeah,
By the way, I said it to you earlier, but not in this video. Happy birthday.
thank you. Honestly, I completely forgot about the birthday thing as we were recording, so ah, uh, it feels nice to finally be done, and I actually have ice cream cakes to eat to help soothe my throat after doing Moon. I got
Yep.
hot
You
tea
shouldn't have to
with frozen ice
you
cream.
shouldn't have to do that for a little bit at least.
Let's see here.
Uh
I'm double checking to make sure.
I think you've gotten like chapter 21.
Here, 16 is safe. Um, I'm looking for italics. Nope, italics. Oh, I see Vanessa here is at 18. We're gonna have fun on 18.
Going to or you're going to?
Said you're going to. Because you're
Oh.
doing Vanessa and Chica and Roxy, so
I'm trying to find Vanessa here.
I'm just like skimming.
By the way, should we just cut the video and keep talking
Oh yeah,
after?
definitely, definitely. Totally not getting sidetracked right now. Um,
Pretty bad that I'm the one that remembered that the video's still going and I'm not anywhere near the device.
Hey, honestly, Moon forgot he was, like, doing a test audio video and just kept talking to himself. No, he didn't forget, he knew he was doing it. He just kept getting distracted and kept talking and rambling about things because he was half awake and, struggling, so I love how I just accidentally outed myself with PID just then. Yeah, well, it was bound to happen. Oh, well. Okay. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, remember,
I
yeah, go ahead.
I did not find Vanessa in this chapter.
In chapter 17,
18.
18? No, final there. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go support the actual author, the person that did the lovely Freddie and Gregory uh voice lines, as well as narrator for chapter what? What was the chapter? What
I
chapters are we
believe it
reading
was
today?
13.
13. Yes, I completely
Chap-
blanked and forgot what chapters we're reading. And the narration for chapter 13. But yeah. Uh, again, go to 803, support the creator. Right now, they are working on one of the endings and uploading them daily. They upload everything daily, and at least so far they are. It's hard. I condemn them on that. I condone them on that. It's very, very hard to do daily. We've tried that
Sorry, it
before.
sounded like you said condemn first time.
I did by accident. I did say condemn. Okay. But yeah, they're working on their next chapter ending. Not next they're working on their first ending, which is what was it called again? The star ending. They have multiple endings they're writing out. So right now they're working on star. So if you enjoyed the story, make sure to give them support and likes, and just know that there's more out there to be read because this is just book one or part one technically. Um, we will see you guys in the next time we record again. There's a Discord that Luna made, and there will be a link in the description to said story that we are reading off of right now, as well as the Discord link. So we will see you guys around next time. Bye bye.